Great morning, great morning, great morning. How's everyone doing so far? I'm gonna see someone's looking to have their AI technology take notes. So I'm gonna go in and hit yes on that. All right. Speaking of AI, we're gonna be talking about AI today. And Caroline, I think I see you there. You're just under my name. So a form of AI, I've got my name in here twice. So there's the Ty Cohen and then there's the Caroline Ty Cohen version, right?
Hello there.
Guys, there you go. Good morning.
Good morning. Just having some camera issues. I won't be with you. I won't be long before I'm with you. I won't be with
Sure.
you. I will be
Okay.
with you.
There you go. You won't be, it won't be long before you're with us visibly, so we can actually see you, right? So there you
That's
go.
right.
All right. Great morning, or afternoon or night for some of you. So good to see you, Robert Pera. All right, good talking to you the other day, even though it was through Messenger. All right, Robert. Hopefully you've gotten everything with the recording of our 2025 Money Morning Meetup. And I actually posted that in the Facebook group as well for anyone else that wants that. So we did that. So good seeing you, Philip, Dr. Tiny, Christine, Victor, Eric, good seeing you, Michelle. Good to see you. Michelle, I don't know what you did to Greg Caesar, but he can't stop talking about you. He was just talking about you a couple of days ago as well. So you definitely left an impression and a good one. Sometimes we can leave an impression on someone when we walk in the room, they want to walk out, but you walked in or he saw you and he just, he thinks the world of you. Janine, good to see you up in NJ. Joanne, all right, King, good to see you as well. And while Caroline gets her camera up in order, I'm gonna turn my phone off. Right. Now, I do want to acknowledge someone here because you guys know that I am a huge lover of tea. And I actually have my tea here. So I've got my morning tea. Sometimes I'll have afternoon tea. And then I also have, well, I've got my morning tea. Sometimes I'll have like midday tea. And I'll always have like end of day tea, right? Not always, but sometimes to wind it down. Um, and one of my favorite teas are chamomile. So it's chamomile flavor. You guys into chamomile? All right. So it gives you that nice, relaxed state. You can kind of, start to wind down, fall asleep. John got the head nod in there, right? So one of our MMMers, one of our one percenters sent me this box of tea right here, all the way from the UK, all the way from across the pond, as they say. So, Philip, thank you for this. I've been enjoying this over the last couple of nights. My son's been looking at it. He's been side-eyeing it. So I've got it in a special area in the cabinet. He goes to sleep much, much later than I do. So I don't know if he's been in there. I'm gonna have to start counting them. Maybe I'm just kidding. But that was a great gift and definitely a surprise. I appreciate you for that. I'm gonna spotlight myself. I'll spotlight you, Caroline,
Do you
as
know,
well.
I always send Philip presents, T-Pigs presents. And because we are obsessed with T-Pigs over here in the UK and
So
chamomile,
you'll send
chamomile
him the same
flowers.
one. So
I'm
TP.
drinking, I'm drinking the chamomile flowers, exactly the same one, yeah.
Very cool. You're
Yeah,
drinking it now?
is in here.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
just got the evidence. Hold on.
Very
So
cool.
we've got to get some more sent over to Ty there, Philip. We have lemon and ginger.
Nice.
We have
That's
normal
Mel's
tea.
favorite. Mel loves lemon and ginger.
Yeah, I've got about 8 of these things. We've got matcha, we've got peppermint,
There you go.
we've
I like
got
peppermint too.
green,
There's a
Earl
never
Grey.
ending closet
You
there.
get the idea.
I get it. Yeah.
Got like 10 of them.
What was the
Yeah,
last one?
it was Darjeeling Earl Grey, because I'm
Okay.
British. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool.
And then we got chamomile. Oh
Got it.
yeah. Malia needs the tea. Hold on. There you go. So yeah, I just did an order last night actually for some more matcha, some
Okay.
more chamomile, and some everyday one. I'll send you the. Oh no, you don't drink caffeine. No, it's okay. All right, send you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, really great place, company. So when I traveled years ago, I used to travel a lot to Southeast Asia, and we went to a lot of the tea plantations in India
Okay.
and Sri Lanka. And they said to me, there was all because the whole I drink like the whole leaf because the
Gotcha.
tea pig's tea, the whole leaves are in the bag, the
Yep.
temple.
Yep.
But for years I just drank the other stuff, you buy in the supermarkets. So
The
when
Ty
there
Cohen
we were
stuff.
in
You're trying to be nice, but
the
not saying the
powdered
cheap
stuff,
stuff.
yeah,
Oh,
the
the powdered
powdered
stuff.
stuff.
I've never had the powdered tea.
Well,
Okay, interesting.
like tea, the way that most
Gotcha.
people buy tea.
Got it. Got it.
And when we were traveling, the woman that worked in the tea plantation said, "This is what we drink,
Mm,
and this is what you drink." And she just showed me this big tub of powder, which was to go into the tea bags,
hmm.
as many, like when you buy all your tea bags,
Yeah.
um, in sort of regular shops. She said, "This is what you drink." And I remember when I tried the two, I preferred our drink because it's very strong when you're drinking the whole, but I've sort of gone over to the other side now, and I think if you're going to drink tea or coffee, you've got to drink the best
You got
tea
to
or
do it
coffee. If you are going to have to, if you feel like you want caffeine, then it's got to be good. So in moderation. So yeah, oh, that's a lovely gift from Philip.
Yeah, really cool. You're right. If you're gonna drink the good stuff, you sound like my wife. She has this Nespresso machine, and it's a whole entire workup that she has to do in the morning. And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
pushing
It's a
buttons, and
ritual.
it's talking to you, and it's doing. And I'm like, look, I just want to put my tea into the cup and pour water over it, right? I'm a simple man. Don't. That's it.
Oh, you're one of the powder people.
That's it.
But no, you're the chamomile, you'll love those, and they're really, really good for you as well.
Very cool.
So it's
Awesome.
really cool. But yeah, it's like wine. I drink wine, not too much. I
Mm,
drink like 4 or 5 glasses a week. And so if I'm going to drink wine, I'm going to drink the good stuff,
the good.
direct from the winemaker, the good stuff, rather than the stuff that I used to drink, the cheaper stuff.
You're not drinking the
So,
Snoop Dogg wine that he's got. And I'm like, I'm in a grocery store a couple of weeks ago, and I'm walking, and I see there's this huge display, and it's Snoop Dogg wine. I'm like, guys got everything. 19 crimes. That's it. Victor knows what I'm talking about. That's the
19
name of it.
crimes
Yeah. So,
already in itself,
right, right. So you drink
Yeah,
that on a Friday night, and you don't know what to expect. All right.
19 crimes on Friday night. Yeah.
By Snoop Dogg. 19
By
crimes.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, there you go.
Right. So happy New Year, everyone. This is the first time
Yeah.
that Caroline and I have actually done this since the new year. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. So
First
it
one
seems
this
like,
year.
yeah, it seems like the first one. Um, you were talking about, so we were going back and forth yesterday about, again, once again, we were on topic, right? Because I'm leaving you a voice message on Slack and saying, hey, this is what we should talk about. And then you're typing back and you're like, hey, this is kind of what I thought we should talk about. And it's very much in sync, which is really cool how that happens, right?
Really weird, isn't it?
There's
Yeah.
no coincidences there. So basically, what we're going to go into is how technology, I mean, we have access to a wealth of technology going into 2025. We've already had it. It's here. It's being refined. It's being made available even more, right? And at lower prices. Some of this stuff is free. It's like, why not take advantage of it and see where it leads you? Do you want to start off with your quote really quickly,
I
or?
will do that, absolutely. Because on the MMM that I missed before Christmas, which I was very sad about. I was actually going to talk about this same topic.
Okay.
And I was going to talk about wealth, because I was considering, before I said share this quote with you, I was considering this. I was considering, we spend all of our time over here in my business looking at revenue and stats and profit, and always analyzing the money side
Yes.
of the business, which is very important, of course, but without sort of taking stock of the true wealth that we have in the business, and
Yeah.
we have in our lives, but if we just keep it about the business, and I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, I'm already extremely wealthy. I have got the best people in my team working with me. who have a wealth of skills and experience and commitment and motivation. That's immense wealth, because in our businesses, we get to choose that. When you're in a job, you often don't get to choose, unless you're hiring your team in. You don't get to choose who you're working with. So we get to choose who we want to work with. That's hugely wealthy. That's very powerful, isn't it, when you think about it? And we don't often think about that. The other thing is the wealth of software and technology available to us that's pretty cheap. You know, like you said, Ty. So yeah, we were definitely synced up, because I was going to go through wealth like this in detail with you all. So we'll be doing that today in relation to technology. So my quote is by Oprah Winfrey. Wealth is not about having money. It's about having the freedom to make your own choices and the ability to impact the world in a meaningful way. In business, the greatest wealth you can achieve is building something that lasts and creates opportunities for others.
Wow.
I like this. Wealth is not about, I'm going to say not just about having money, because of course money is a really important part of it. It's about having the freedom to make your own choices and the ability to impact the world in a meaningful way. In business, the greatest wealth you can achieve is building something that lasts and creates opportunities for others, which I love. I love that, because obviously we're creating opportunities with the courses that we do for many people to get the skills that we've spent longer getting, so we can help them be quicker in their development of their businesses, but also the opportunities we're giving people that we hire, you know.
100%.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, I love that quote. So that's Oprah Winfrey.
There you go.
Yes,
And it is in, oh, go ahead.
no, it's all right. I just
No, I
laugh.
was going to say, and it's, so touching on that quote, right? Building out the books that we're building out the courses that we're building out creates a sense of longevity. You never know if you're going to be the next, whoever it may be, that wrote a book 100 years ago and we're still reading it, right? Think about that. You never know if you might be the next individual that writes a book that you have classes and you've got universities that are studying your book and teaching entire lectures around it, right? So you just never know, but you have to put it out there. So that is a form of wealth. Think about all of the individuals that you can actually reach by publishing your book, and you hit one person, that person is impacted so much by it, then they go in and they tell other people, just like I've been telling you guys about Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art, right? And any of the other books. My new favorite book that I'm revisiting, I've read this book probably about 10 or 15 times, is Price Pictured, The Quantum Leap Strategy. Right? I think Robert Pera and I were talking about this. I've talked about this book with so many people since I shared it on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. So you being that individual that through all of the doubt, through all of the disbelief, through all of the hard times, through all of the initial lack of sales, you still continue to push through, and people go in and they love your book. You know, that kind of happened with Napoleon Hill. So if Think and Grow Rich initially, that thing was not getting any traction. But he knew he had this uncanny ability to continue to push forward. He had a lot of ups and downs in his life, especially towards the end of his life, right? So he still pushed through, and it's become one of the best-selling business books of all times. The numbers that have been sold are crazy. I don't even remember what it's been, but if you guys look it up. Now, why can't that be you? Right? Why can't that be you? Because you just said, you know what? I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna do it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna put it out there. And with technology now, it gives us the opportunity to just do some incredible things.
It does. So much available. Do you ever feel, I mean, I'm going through this FOMO thing at the moment. I think, are we using enough AI? Are we doing enough with it? What are the technologies out there? But there's such an abundance of technology. And the only thing then, of course, for us all to be mindful of is, this as we're searching for it, then of course all those ads will come in with people selling all sorts of different things, and and often a lot of the technology is duplicated, so you don't need that, and that, you just use that, you know. And so on one side it's absolutely fantastic, but on the other side it's available for everyone. So it's obviously we've got to then make sure that we're unique, ahead of the game, and just not getting distracted, which is so easy to do, isn't it? Even when you're not someone that normally gets distracted, but get distracted with too many things,
Yeah.
focus on mastering, one at a time. I don't mean just businesses, I actually just mean like things that we could use, you know. Um, and um, and so that, I think it's about saying, okay, these are I don't know, the 10 things we're going to use in the business. Let's master those, and then we can bring in more. Because I often think, oh, I'm not doing, like we use pseudo-write, but we're not using plotter. Should we be, with our writing? And I'm thinking, oh, we need to bring that in. But actually, what we're doing now is working really, really well. And also, there's a large element. I had a chat with Robert actually about this on the FastPass training that we did last week. That I was sharing my recent pen name that I launched. And I got it it's at sort of last month it was at 5K after its fourth month.
Okay.
I was talking about how even though we used a lot of AI for outlines, some of the writing, no, not in this series, but outlines, and we use it in our sort of systems, and we use AI on the cover, and in various different aspects of the business. A lot of the way that I built that pen name quickly was the same way that I built it, my first pen name, 4 years ago. So you also, it's about embracing all the technology. We've been able to cut costs. We've been able to move quicker, but equally there's a lot of human stuff that is all exactly the same as it was 4 years ago,
Yeah.
in relation to human action that's required. But things like market research can be way sped up, things like writing the book, you can do it in a couple of days, or less, is all completely different. So there's all these sort of AI powered resources, software apps that we're using, but also a lot of the way that is building quickly is because of the experience that I had doing other ones.
Yeah.
So even putting a new person in front of that is still going to take time to get that experience. And so we were having that conversation about, what can we use that can make it better, but equally there's some core things that still have to be done, but they're a
100%.
lot quicker.
You're humanizing it,
Yeah.
right? So taking all of your experience and just humanizing it. And you get to that point by using it over time, right? So over time you start to get to that point. There's so many different things. Like now what I'm doing with some of the new approaches to AI, and we'll talk about some of these things, is I'm dedicating maybe an hour or 90 minutes towards the end of my day, and I'm just researching these different platforms and going in and trying out the free versions and testing them and saying, what do I like as far as the aesthetics? What do I like as far as the functionality? What do I like as far as the output? How do your ability to input, and then what do you get as far as your output, right? So I think what you said is spot on. You find a handful of them, and it just needs to be just a few of them. You double down on learning them, and then you're good to go, right? So we've got things where I saw a quote. I was actually watching a video, and I heard something by Sam Altman, and this was about a month ago, and then I heard him rephrase it in a different way just yesterday. He said, "We'll soon see our first billion-dollar company ran by one person that knows how to proficiently use AI." So our first $1 billion company. And when you look at it, it makes sense. I mean, we're doing so much
Makes
stuff
sense.
as far as from the content creation side. using primarily HeyGen and 11 Labs. So primarily add in ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT is a given. But ChatGPT, HeyGen, and 11 Labs, the amount of content that we're able to put out and the creativity that we're able to have is just mind-blowing. And then now you look at some of this stuff where going into these things have been here for a few years now, but going into 2025, you're going to start hearing the word AI agents even more, right? So looking at these AI agent platforms like Make, and you've got like Leap and Replit and all of the other ones that are out there, NAN.com, where if ChatGPT gives you the information, the AI agents now go in, they take that information and they intelligently are able to go in and deploy it and put it into place so that you're not taking the information and now you're not the one that has to go in and use it. So this is what we mean by being on top of the technology and using it to your advantage, right? Because you can go and you can take AI agents and you can use them for things like customer support. You can use them for things like uploading your content on Amazon. You can use them for things like building out your Facebook ads, right? So there's a ton of different use cases for these things, but it's understanding which platform do I go on, which one do I like best, which one's easier for me to use, because even someone like me who is not a coder, I'm not a coder, I'm not a very technical person, I'm not someone who can go in and write software code or programming. You look at some of these platforms, and they make it so easy where it's simply writing a prompt. It's simply describing in 2 or 3 sentences what you want your AI agent to do. And now the AI agents are going off and doing that thing, right? Of course, you've got to integrate it with your different platforms to give it access to things. But now there's talk of in 2025, you'll be able to have AI agents that are interacting with one another. So you might have one that can go in and take the graphical prompt from ChatGPT, take that, go into Leonardo or any of the other graphic designers that are AI driven, create the image, right? Then take that and then go into Upwork and hire a graphic designer, post a project, hire a graphic designer based on your specs, and then take that and upload it to your Amazon account, right? So there's so many different chains that you'll be able to create pretty soon. And this is why you have people like Sam Altman, super smart individuals, who are saying, we're going to have these companies that are ran by just one individual that can do significant things.
It's amazing. And also, there's so much that's software that we were already using anyway. Grammarly, Canva Pro, if people are using Canva Pro, Canva, and I'm just trying to think of a few more that obviously have got AI in just Facebook ads platform or Meta platform. They've got AI all built in a different way. So there's, even if you're not embracing, okay, I'm using this and this and this software, even if you're a little bit behind with it, which is sort of how I'm feeling, but actually when we are doing a lot with it. I think I'm just feeling like that because there's so much available.
Everyone is feeling like that.
Yeah, because I'll come back to that in a second, but then there's so much of what we Publisher Rocket, so much of what we're using already that has AI built now in, and it's been adapted accordingly. So actually we're using it probably more than we think. In just sort of the software that we're already using. So people don't need to worry about, oh my gosh, I'm literally not embracing this at all. Because it is that sort of this incredible leading edge time that we're living in. It's quite unnerving as well. But equally, it's very, very exciting. I'm really excited about it because I just think, oh my gosh, it's just incredible what's going to happen. Just the fact that you can put a voice into something like, hey, I was looking at HeyGen after you told me that last night, and then you get all these different languages. I was playing around with it. It's just phenomenal in terms of cutting down costs on different things like that. DeepL, I'm already using that. That's now got more AI built in. Which makes translating your books even get to the point where query whether you need and a human translator on top of it, like you did 2 years ago, whenever we
Yeah.
presented it to the KCF community. So there's all of that going on. But I think the key thing as well is to make sure, and I know that it's inevitable that everyone will be embracing it, sort of can't not really, that we get people in our team that's really open and willing to get on top of it as well. That's the key. You know, are your
That's the key.
writers prepared to work with, you know, Pro Writing Aid, Grammarly Premium, AutoCrit, ChatGPT? That actually AutoCrit's more editing, isn't it? No, it's writing as well. It was just
Right.
looking at it on ChatGPT when I was prepping for this last night. And you know, and I had somebody in the team that was anti doing that, so we had to have a conversation about we've got to embrace this, you know,
Yeah,
because
I've got that right now. I actually had that conversation yesterday to a degree.
not, you know, do you want to stay or go? It wasn't that sort of conversation. It was, okay, you know what? It sort of was, I don't want you to be spending 3 hours getting the emails done for the week or the month or whatever, however long it takes, when you can do that in less than a minute.
Oh my
And
God, and they
you
come
know,
out so great.
gosh, they're so great. You know, she just put our launch emails together for a launch,
Hmm.
and she said, do you want to check it? Do you want to check them? Right,
Yeah.
because I normally check things. And I said, you know what, just take the emojis out of the titles.
Okay.
Because we've been doing a lot of email cleanup recently after that great guy came in. Get some of the graphics out and cut some of the links. But I don't need to check them. They look absolutely phenomenal. She said they are phenomenal. So she's been working, it's the same person. We've been working between sort of Christmas and New Year on sort of prompts and making them better, because the early ones were really flowery. It was pretty obvious this email was generated by ChatGPT. It
Yeah.
wasn't the way we would say things. So now we've got some sort of, I really like, you know, plugins in ChatGPT. I use a lot of them, you know, Write for Me. I really like that. There's some copywriting ones, and different ones like that I've added in. And so they sound just, some of them, they're just brilliant. And we can do that in 1 minute, or by the time you've got them all together, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. And I want her time then to be spent doing other things. She can then be working on another pen name, you know, to help
It
me with
cuts
it.
down
It cuts down. It cuts down. And I was just thinking about this, you know, last night. Yeah, Dibbly Create. I've got that, Aaron. I actually have an affiliation with them, but they're still sort of perfecting that platform. But there's so many brilliant tools. Some of them many of them have free versions that you can get going with. But also it's things like, you know, I know a lot of people are doing their own covers, and my attitude with covers is I'm not particularly inclined to sit there for longer than about 5 minutes or 10 minutes on things.
Yeah,
So
me too.
my thing is I'm a bit obsessed with Leonardo, and I've got it really going quite well now. I've got the a premium version, but only the first premium version, not the top premium version. And so what I do is I get my images with AI,
What
and
was
then
that?
pardon?
I thought it
Well,
looked
that
like
face.
something was going on there, right?
No, I just love it. I just love it. So you know,
Oh,
typically now I can cut down the costs of my designer costs and the
yeah.
time. I turn around a couple of series with the designer in a day
Mm-hmm.
between meetings, and it would take a couple of weeks for these things to come through normally.
Because
In the
now
past,
you're giving them direction.
yeah. So
Yeah.
rather than her going through hours and hours of stock images that aren't quite what I want,
Mm-hmm.
I go onto Leonardo, play around, 5 minutes, whatever, got my images. One series is set in a particular place. I just put in the place and what I wanted. I got the greatest images. Obviously, just declare it all on Amazon that you've used, you know, Midjourney and Leonardo, and to what extent. Send her the images, tell her, you know, what I'm modeling, what fonts I want, blah, blah, blah. Well, not the specific names of them because I don't know them, but just what I want on the cover, bang, straight back. ebook, ACX, paperback. In one day,
You're good to
12
go.
covers
Yeah.
between meetings for me, and she was working on it all day because she's great at I'm not all the rest of the cover. I mean, I could do it, but I need the cover to be a top cover. So now I've got the images that I want. I trust her to do the rest. She just goes off and does the most amazing things. These covers are incredible. They look like I've spent $1,000 per cover.
Yes.
They really do. Because I mean, I've paid a couple of $100 is the most I've paid for a cover. I know that you can get incredible ones where people use models, etc., on their covers. But these covers are as good as the top covers in the top 20 on Amazon. And, you know, and I run that by other people because, well, often when we think something's good, doesn't mean that everyone else does, because we've all got different tastes.
Yeah.
So I make sure that I run the cover by several people with good taste and knowledge, and incredible. Cost me a couple of $100 for the whole lot. Good to go in a day. Pre-orders on, not with AI yet, with a person.
It is insane, some of the stuff
But
that you
it's
can do.
amazing, isn't it?
It is. And then the quality. So I kind of teach this on the KCF webinar too, if you guys have seen that, where um, prompting Leonardo to get the covers and then going in and hire, and if you don't have a graphic designer already, like Caroline and myself, hiring one on Upwork and then saying, hey, look, this is the direction, or these are the directions that I'm looking to go in. Because you can do that with Leonardo. You got the cover, you got the place, you got the set, like the setting, you've got even the character if you want. And now with Leonardo, you've got consistency, right? So with characters, you can have consistency across the characters.
Exactly. And then you just ask it for a load more images for your AI ads, your ad creatives, and there's different ad creative AI. And then you can send them out to the team, log into the Leonardo, because I upgrade to things I need to, and the whole team will have access. We have like a team thing, so that they don't have to worry about expenses. As long as
And you have the consistency too, because it will remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So the VA will go in, pull out do the A content from there, for the book description page, and then just pull out everything for social media and everything that she does on that. And she used to, you know, we used to pay for BookBrush. We don't need to anymore. Even though BookBrush is still really good and you're obviously using AI, but we don't need to do some of the things that we did before. So it's incredible. And that's just one little thing, you know, in the business. Tell you what I'm doing actually, Ty, when I'm building this pen name, I should make this pen name, I think, 10K within the next couple of months. I've just released a new series, or releasing a new series. I'm documenting and journaling, and I'm going to record it out, all the steps that I've taken from the beginning, and including what AI we've used.
So all the tools and what you
used. Just so I've got it documented, because it took me a year to get to that level with the first pen name, and it can take more. Then I came into FastPass and it sped up to like 4 or 5 months after going through your programs. I was fiddling around, as you know, before that. And that was good, using the word fiddling, because it was just quickly replaced. And then but this time round, because we've got better technology, obviously I've got the experience and everything, I can do that in 5 months. I mean,
and you have the confidence and the belief.
Yeah. And also not wasting any money.
Yeah.
And not making mistakes, wasting money, which you inevitably do when you're learning, whatever course you've got, to be honest with you. It's all part of the process. So it could probably be done in 2 months next time.
Yeah.
But it takes time to build an email list, doesn't it? And, you know, build a brand and a fan base. You can't do it in a week with this sort of business. You could with another business maybe. But I'm thinking, okay, if I can do that in 5 months, or 4 months to 5K. And as I said on the FastPass, I show all my figures and log in, show everyone everything. I think I did I did on the FastPass call. As I was saying, this isn't profit, this is revenue. Yeah. From next month, there is some profit in that, but next month I'll get into profit. Because for me, when I'm teaching people to, using the tools that we've got and everything, my priority is to help them get the business paying for itself. That's a huge success.
That's the first step. If you get that,
First
you're
step.
good to go. You're gold.
Yeah.
Do you know there's many of 100 million and even billion-dollar companies that are named brands that it takes them sometimes decades. Amazon, for example, to become profitable, right? So we obsess over, oh my God, I'm not seeing it. If you get it to a point where your business is sustaining itself, sustaining, you're doing better than a lot of the Fortune 500 companies that are out there. You just don't realize it.
Yeah, if you get a business in 4 months, which we can do with this business, or less, if you're better than I am, I mean, I don't know whether I could do it quicker than that. Probably could have put out more content. But if you can get the business to pay for itself in 4 months, that is way better than most traditional businesses are 5 years, aren't they? Non-digital businesses, the average, they are in the UK. But
Yeah.
it's and you just think if you can do that, if you can do that, then that's just incredible. You just multiply that and duplicate it. And I'll tell you what it is, when people are online, I mustn't deviate from the topic, but when people are online, and I'm the same, I don't know whether you're the same, we take stock way quicker than if you just opened a restaurant down the road and it wasn't in profit in 3 months or whatever. And I think that's when people just don't continue, they go off and do something else because they don't stick with it. Because of the fact we have to pay out when we're producing, we have to pay people, and there's cost associated. People will have bought a program as well. Then the whole priority then, and it's understandable because I was the same, is I'm not making money yet. I'm not making money yet. You've just got to hold your fire and just keep it out there. There's one woman in the community that's made her first million. And it took her 12
I
months.
saw the post, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. 12 months to get into profit
Mhm.
with her first pen name, 12 months for the second pen name. And now she's made over 1 million. That was a year ago, wasn't it? So that's
Yeah.
so but now, because of all the technology that we've got and the access to so many amazing resources, we are way ahead of the game to where you and I were 4 years ago, Ty.
It is just amazing to think. Now, the thing that I'm always conscious of also, or try to be conscious of also, is not squandering the opportunity. Meaning not taking things like ChatGPT in its most simplest form for granted. Not taking Leonardo for granted. Not taking Ideogram, which is what I use for my Facebook ad images, for granted. So Leonardo for book covers, Ideogram for Facebook ads. I just like how those come out. They're just scroll stopping, right? Someone's on Facebook and they're just scrolling and boom. So uh, Robert says, Caroline, please send me the link for Write for Me as Google search shows several plugins, please.
Oh
Got
yeah,
it.
will do. Yeah,
Yep.
no problem. I'm
And I'm
doing
gonna
that
also, oh,
guidance
go ahead.
document for you, Robert, as well, that we
Okay.
talked about in the fast pass.
And I gave you guys, I put the links to all of the different AI agent, not all of them because there's a ton of them, but the AI agent platforms that I have researched over the last couple of days and that I am looking into to figure out which ones we're going to ultimately use, which one, because it'll probably be one or two. And if you're familiar with like Zapier or Zapier, then some of
Yeah.
these will look very similar, right? Because they function in the same way. You've got connectivity and everything else. But the other Someone was asking earlier about the other three AI platforms that we use a lot, and that is HeyGen. So HeyGen for uh, just avatar creation. So creating an avatar of yourself or creating an avatar of someone else or creating an avatar of who your ideal avatar, your ideal customer avatar might be. So HeyGen is great. There's some other ones that are out there that I've been looking at over the last 2 weeks that are insane. You can have your avatar in any setting. They could be like in a car, a living room, an office. And it's very
So these
hard
are
to track.
videos. You're going to do video creation with these and
That's what we do with
course
HeyGen.
creation,
Yep.
and
So with
you're using an AI
Avatar.
avatar.
Yep. So with an if you got if you're in what's the name of this program that we have? If you are in the Make Money Monthly program that we have, then some of those courses actually, the latter courses are my AR avatar that's
Yeah,
teaching that course. Right now,
yeah,
you'll see where it gets better and better because, hey, Jen, the technology gets better and better. So now you might be able to, you might see me in this shirt, or you might see me in Kindle Capsule shirt. You might see me in year, right? So, and you might see me in different settings, different backgrounds. So it gets a lot easier. So now, and then for the audio, so if you're doing anything like audio, so our audiobooks will use 11 Labs. You can also use HeyGen, but 11 Labs I prefer because again, the technology is much better. There's other platforms that are competing. So now the beautiful thing about this is now you have all of these competitors that are coming out here, and it makes the technology even better. Amazon.
yeah.
So have you guys seen like Amazon? I think it was last month, they just dropped like 6 new AI platforms all on a single day. Not one, but 6. So it's called Amazon Nova. So they dropped a AI platform that competes with Sora, right? So Sora is the video creator, and I think Amazon calls it Amazon Nova Reels, right? And then they also dropped a AI like presentation slide sort of creator that is in competition with Canva, right? But now the cool thing about it is the thing I love about Amazon is now this could be good or bad. But Amazon will allow these smaller companies to come up with the technology and they'll allow them to get the database and they'll allow them to have the use case and everything else. And then they'll come in and they'll say, look, we've been working on this stuff for 5 years. You guys are good, but this is what we've been working on for 5 years, which makes ours much more superior. So if you go look at Reels versus Sora, you'll see that the Reels technology, it creates videos that are much better than Sora. And you can use this stuff like I went in, I have a Sora account. So if you guys don't have a Sora account, go over to Sora, make sure you're logged into ChatGTP. And then if you have a $20 a month ChatGTP account, you get Sora for free. At least that's how it was when I first signed up like 3 weeks ago.
Mm.
But I took a Sora video, a 5-second Sora video. I put it on one of my book prequel registration pages, 5-second video. And it increased my conversions versus the page that didn't have this video on it. So you can use this AI technology in a bunch of different ways. What else does Amazon have? So again, if you go in and you search for like Amazon Nova, you'll see all the different 6 AI platforms that they dropped, and these things are just
Yeah,
insane.
Sora.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Sora, Sora.
And HeyGen is spelled
I'll do it.
HYGEN.
HEY, isn't it?
HEY. It's one of those. Let me
It's
see
two
what I
words, separate words, isn't it? I might be wrong. Hold on. I was
HeyGen.
on it last night playing with it.
Yes, HY.
Oh no, wrong. Sorry.
Yep. HEYGEN.
HEY.
HEYGEN. I'll give you guys the link actually here. That'll make it a lot easier. So,
Phenomenal. Yeah, Amazon. That's why we're declaring everything on there that we're doing because it's going to swoop in and do it better.
and that's why look, Amazon is smart. So when they first said that we're going to allow AI generated content in the form of Kindle books, a lot of people couldn't understand that. They were saying, well, why would they allow stuff that's not created by a human, right? Where that's actually not true, right? Some of your stuff would be created by you, some by, AI, but they realize where the technology is going. And they're so heavily invested in the technology as well, meaning AI technology, that they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot by not allowing AI created content on the platform because they've got billions and billions of dollars invested in this stuff. So, and then Sora is the other one. Let me give you that link as well.
Sora, yeah.
Yep. Now, Sora, it's kind of, so Sora is part of ChatGPT, it's OpenAI.
Do you add it as a plugin then, or do you have to go into Sora?
No, it's actually a platform, so you can actually go
Yes.
into it and let me give you a login, or I'll give you, so it's open. If you could just go to OpenAI and then Sora here, I'll give you a direct link. But make sure that you're logged in. When you guys go in, make sure that you're logged into ChatGPT first. And boom, boom, boom. I'll actually share my screen. I'm going to share my screen with you really quickly, and I'll
I
show
was
you
going to say that'd be great.
what's that?
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be great.
So let me know if you can. Let me start it. Let me know if you can see my screen. So this is, has it shown up for you?
Yeah, got it.
So this is Sora here. So you can go in and with a single prompt, it could be a one sentence prompt. You can go in and you can create video. There's a lot that you can go in and you can do with these videos, right? So I created one that I think my video was, and maybe I can log in and show you guys. It was like, give me an image of a bunch of authors that are standing around with their books and they're just super happy. They're in a good state. So you got super dog up here. Now, some of these are just super silly, but it just gives you an idea of the things that you can do. Let me see if I can log into my.
Only problem is every time we watch anything anywhere, you don't know if it's real or not now. Is that person the person? Is that object real? You know, is that weird
That is
animal
the
that
case.
exists? It's crazy. It's amazing.
So something like this, right? Like the ladies
Yeah.
here dancing in class, you have no idea if that's real. This you can, right? Yeah, no one's running. They're not panicking by seeing a tiger in the subway, right? But a flying cow, you know that that's not real. Um, but yeah, there's some things that you can absolutely do that are
Incredible.
insane. So I'm gonna pause this for a second while I log in. Do, 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 do. And then so here's the video that I created. Right, I put this on, and I was just testing this thing. I went in, opened up the server account. 5 minutes later, created this video.
They're all holding Kindle books, Kindle
Right.
related. Very interesting. Yeah.
Added that to a page. Just wanted to do it. Did this in all about 10 minutes because I wanted to see if it would increase conversions, and it absolutely does. Let me see if I can get. See, this is the prompt. Give me a picture of a group of people who are happy and smiling, holding up the Amazon Kindle books that they just published. Do that in there, and that's it. Actually, I want to do that with you guys. So give me let's create a new one real quick here. Give me a prompt. Someone put a one sentence prompt into the chat box of a video that we should create, and I'll show you in real time how this thing works. So just give me and when you think of a prompt, think of it as a description. What are you describing to your video creator, right? Give me a video that shows a busy New York street with cows walking across the crosswalk, right? Just to give you an idea of what this looks like.
So nothing in yet, I'll tell you. Okay, so we've got two puppies running in a field.
Okay, so let's see. That's gonna be pretty easy here. So Rod, so I throw it in there, two puppies running in the field. Then I go hit enter. A palm tree, a family doing, oh, prepping, that's a good one. All right, so now here, puppy playtime adventure. A palm tree in the middle of a snowstorm. Oh, that's a good one, John. So now it does take a little bit of time. So we'll sit here and we'll let this thing do its thing. But look, so with these videos right now, with the account that I have, this is a free account that I have that's complimentary when you have a $20 a month ChatGPT account. It creates videos up to 5 seconds, right? So that's it. But
Five
I mean,
seconds. Yeah.
5 seconds long, right? So as you saw with these videos here, these are super short, right? And then what I
Yeah.
did was I went in, please add in a few older men and women in their 50s. So if you go in and you look at the videos, they're all different, right? So if I go in and I show you while we're waiting for this one, oh, this is the first one I did, right? Give me an image of children running around a toy store. So look at how vibrant this thing is. Like you could not tell that that's not real,
It's just great.
right? Here's the first ones that I gave me, and it gave me a bunch of younger people. So that's why I went in and I revised it and I said, okay, please add in a few older men and women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because this one I was not descriptive. I just said, give me a picture of a group of people who are happy and smiling, holding up the Amazon Kindle books that they just purchased. Right. So you can always go in and refine it. Now, here's the one that we just put in: puppies playing in the field. You cannot tell that that's not real. Right. And now this is just technology that's just been released to the public just last month. Right. Even though they've been talking about it, but they just made it public. Just a couple. Now, think about what's going to happen a year from now, 6 months from now, right? When it just gets better and better and better.
Do you use these videos in your Facebook ads or
I
just
have
in your?
not yet. So that's the plan. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, I went in here, just created this video, refined the video, added it to one of my pages. I wanted to see if it's going to increase the conversions. Next up is starting to use them in Facebook ads, in a way where I'll probably do some storyboarding where I'll take like, uh, whatever, right? We'll take one video editor and then we'll have this video and then maybe we'll have like an avatar created in HeyGen. We'll kind of splice them together in and out so that the avatar is talking about the story. The story might be the mystery book, right? That we're selling and that's available on Amazon. And then you've got some screenshots of, some alien ships that are fighting, things like that. And then it's kind of going back and forth so that there's this entire short 15-second, 20-second video that's created and that can be used in the ads. Jane says, how do they generate them? Don't they use or take images from any real footage? No, they don't. This is all AI generated, so computer generated. It's that smart. So think about it. It has, I mean, if what's the number after trillion, right? It has an infinite amount of data that it can just pull from the internet. So it knows what a human is supposed to look like. It knows what a dog is supposed to look like. It knows what if you get down like and you get grainier, it knows what a German Shepherd or a puppy German Shepherd is supposed to look like.
I'm just gonna say what Wendy's just put here. Could you take actual photos of some of our members and have AI make it slightly different so that you don't get sued for using their image without permission?
I would imagine you could. I would imagine you could take a photo and then upload it into like Leonardo or
I would
into
just avoid anything like that, wouldn't you?
yeah,
Yeah. You
absolutely.
can imagine, can't you imagine it if you've got like don't put an ugly version of me out there.
Oh
If it
my
doesn't
God.
generate properly, or no, I mean things like that. Yeah, I just sort of tend to avoid things. Anything like that where anything could possibly go wrong, I would just avoid it and just
Yeah.
go with this. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I love that. And Amazon Nova, where do we get that? I was Googling and trying to find
So
the
I don't know if they've made it available to the public yet.
generative foundation model, Amazon Nova AWS.
Hmm.
They have, unless this is someone else talking about it. I think that's it. Get
Yeah,
started with
I don't think
Amazon
they've made it
Nova.
available yet.
I think they have. AWS. signin.aws.amazon.com. I think they might.
I
Don't
have
know.
an AWS account. I'm gonna log in and I'll check and see.
What does
Uh,
AWS stand for? Amazon Web Services, doesn't it?
yeah, but
Yeah.
they have like 20 different things under there. So like we use it for our web hosting, we use it for like our email sending.
Okay. Wow. Very interesting.
All right, so I saw
What are your top? This will be useful for people, Ty. I know what mine are in relation to publishing, but because you're doing stack of other things, what are your top go-to AI pieces of software that you use? You mentioned obviously ChatGPT Pro or Plus.
whichever the latest version is. So I'm always upgrading to the latest version. So right now, if I go into ChatGPT,
To higher up versions now.
yeah. So whatever, I think
Okay.
it's as of right now, it's. I'm gonna log in and I'll see what I have here. But I think it's four. Yeah, it's 4.
There's different upgrades now available that there weren't before. It was just upgrade or not. It's 4, and then you've got Pro and Plus, haven't you now, I think? Unless it's the same thing.
So
Uh,
you could, so right now I have the unlimited access plan, but
yeah.
you can go. I had went in, so they have a team version. I had went in and looked at the team version. Don't see the advantage of
No, I don't. So it's
yeah,
25 a user, isn't it? So
yeah, it doesn't make sense at this point. But as far as the top three, they are, well, I'll give you the top five. So it is Leonardo,
hmm
it is Ideogram,
hmm
it is, and let me explain explain. I think it'll make sense if I explain instead of just give you. And then Dr. Tiny, yeah, there is a great explainer, AI explainer.
Explanation of the Amazon Nova, I
Software.
think, is it?
So
Yeah.
boards is a good one. So it's not, and that's not spelled in the traditional way that boards would be spelled. It's Boords. So boards, that's a good one. And then this is one that we have, I mean, we've used this forever. I used this back when we used to live in before we moved here. So this is what our Facebook team were using. And you just reminded me because I need to log into our account. We haven't been in this thing. So Raw Shorts is a good one. So it's RAWSHORTS, Raw Shorts, right? And then another one is Steve.ai. So STEVE.ai. But Raw Shorts was, what could I compare Raw Shorts to? It was like Ideogram for video, for explainer video. So we created a lot of Facebook ads using Raw Shorts. And like I said, I haven't logged into my account in a long time. So that's something that my
Yeah.
Facebook ad team would use. So I'm sure that they've increased it, they've like enhanced it even better. All right. Made it even better. So the top five would be Leonardo for character images. So Leonardo for like if you're using character images in like children's books or anything like that, and you want consistency. So you can that used to be a big problem with Leonardo where you couldn't get character consistency. Now you can actually do that. Uh, and then Leonardo, as Caroline talked about earlier, for book covers, right? Ideogram for Facebook ads. So you can kind of go in and create 5 or 6 different types. You can have like 3D ads, you can have like real life ads. So Ideogram for Facebook ads. HeyGen for avatars. So for like talking avatars, right? So HeyGen, HeyGen, 11 Labs for like audio. So if you guys have ever gotten like a phone call from me for a reminder about something or thank you after you made a purchase, that actually was created using maybe ChatGPT and 11 Labs or us just typing into 11 Labs what we want the audio to say, right? So we have like reminders for like the webinar or after you buy something, you'll get a phone call and it'll be like, hey, this is Ty Cohen from Kindle Cashflow. Just wanted to say, hey, thanks for coming in as a customer. We appreciate you. If you ever need help, go over to kindlecashflow.com/support. Right. So it helps with welcoming, it helps with what we call CAP calls, so customer appreciation calls. The other thing is, so I talked about 11 Labs, HeyGen, Ideogram,
Steve.ai. What's that for?
that's explainer videos. So
Explain the video.
Steve.ai, yep, and Raw Shorts. Again, I like Raw
Yeah.
Shorts better because that's what we use. I haven't used Steve.ai much, but Raw Shorts is really good. And then
hmm
ChatGPT, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's it. So those 4 or 5 right there, those five, right? And then just start looking at like these AI agents because again, like I said, like ChatGPT can give you the information until you know the moon turns blue. But then you need to actually do something with the information. That's where either you do it yourself or you start to learn how to code. And when I say code, I mean prompt, just writing prompts, as John said earlier. Learning how to write prompts is going to be one of the best things that you can do.
Yeah. And Robert, you were talking about that prompter AI app, weren't you, as well, that you were using? You know, the AI agents side of things, is that sort of, are you doing things like chatbots and everything yet? And all your customer service creating AI around that?
Yes, and
Or your
that's exactly
chatbots
what
and
it
your
is.
customer service, that's what it is, yeah?
Chatbots are so chatbots are a form of AI agent, right?
Yeah,
So a chatbot, it just does that, right? So you can have it for customer support. You can use someone can
yeah.
go to your website and they can ask, hey, well, when's the next version of this? When's the
Okay.
next episode of this story going to come out, right? And then your chatbot can give them information. It can give them a link to pre-order it. It can give them a link to, your Amazon store if it's on Amazon already. So your agents could do a bunch of different things once you go
Mm.
you build them out.
One person business.
It is, look, it's the difference between so traditionally we've been taught to be specialists, right? So you're a specialist at one thing. You're a specialist at whatever it might be. You might be a specialist at graphic designing, right? You might be a specialist at editing. You might be a specialist at writing. Now with AI, what we're seeing is you're going to see more generalists. So if a person that learns how to become a generalist, sort of like a Renaissance woman or a Renaissance man, right? But you learn how to become a generalist, and you with that skill, you can do 80% of what a specialist could do. But instead of a specialist just being good at writing, you now can be a generalist that's great at writing, great at graphic design, great at market research, great at running your ads because you've learned how to become a generalist using AI. And now, instead of it taking you taking a specialist, remember there used to be this
Mm.
thought that 10 years of being immersed in anything makes you like this amazing person, right? Makes you a specialist. I forget the individual that talked about that. But now you can go in and you can study this stuff for a month. You could
Yeah,
study HeyGen, you could study 11 Labs, you could study Leonardo, you could study, all of these different platforms for a month, and you become a generalist in each of these different areas. And in a month's time, 2 months' time, 3 months' time, you can get as good as the freaking specialist that took 10 years to learn about this one area. But now
yeah,
you're
yeah,
proficient in 4 or 5 different areas. So if
yeah,
you think about it, like generalists are like, I heard the story about pandas, right? So pandas, they have the ability to eat, right, using their thumbs. So they can go in and they can eat bamboo using their thumbs, right? Because they don't have the rest of the phalanges like we have. So they can go in. What happens if bamboo no longer exists on the face of the earth? What happens? Then they become extinct really quickly, right? Because they don't know how to adapt. So learning how to adapt becomes one of the best things that you can do, right? The people and the businesses that tend to do the best are those that can adapt the quickest. So if you look at like raccoons, I remember we went down to Disney World and we had rented a house at a resort. It was a freaking I'd never really seen raccoons growing up in Connecticut much where we grew up. But I remember coming back from Disney World and the freaking raccoon, he's sitting on top of a garbage. He was able to open up the garbage can, Caroline. Like this thing was like latched, like not latched with a lock, but latched with a little. She was able
yeah.
to
Devils.
open that thing and get into the garbage, and there's garbage everywhere. So
Yeah,
raccoons, they're able to adapt to like diverse conditions, right? They can
yeah.
use their intelligence and their hands, if you want to call it that, to be able to do things that pandas can't. So being able to adapt gives you that ability to go in and do
We're
things.
generalists, we're content creators.
It's
Uh,
being an AI generalist that can kick butt.
yeah. Wow. Wow,
So
wow, wow.
some interesting times, but also some, this stuff is not all good because I was looking for some Tony Robbins stuff the other day, and I was sharing this with my wife. And there's an entire channel of AI generated Tony Robbins content. And you can tell it's not Tony Robbins. Right now, Tony Robbins has put in 48 years of hard work to build up his brand. And now some guy comes in, they create a channel, and 2 months, and he's got, 500,000 subscribers because they
Yeah,
think it's Tony.
yeah.
You should see the comments. Oh, Tony, I love you. Oh, this is fantastic, Tony. I'm like, this is not Tony.
it's happening with lots of content creators on YouTube. You know, this channel's not me. Comments in the, it's not me. There's a scammer or whatever. So that's the thing, isn't it? So it's about, just being mindful of that and protecting ourselves and our businesses as as much as possible as well when we're creating content on these platforms. So yeah, there's going to be that side of it. There's going to be this side of it where, is it real? Is it not real? What do I start believing? Your head's spinning with it. And that's why, all the practices we talk about on here, like meditation and, centering and all those things, is going to be so important over the next, this sort of leading edge progress. 25 is going to move like 10x last year, and it's just going to continue to do it. And it's all, a lot of it is fantastic, and the other side of it is, how do you stay human and connected in this world where you take all the bits of it that you want, careful what you watch or look at, because you don't know whether it's real or not. And then just, make sure you've got all the things in place to protect yourself and your team from things that could happen. But equally, it's incredible. Someone put on I saw something somewhere on Facebook that had their first massage with a robot massage, and then I thought, well, is that real or not? Did they or not? So,
I don't want that.
You believe. But then I know some of the stuff, when you look at some of the stuff that's happening in the medical profession and other things, there's a lot of what you might not believe that's happening that's possible, and it's incredible.
Quantum computing, right? So now with quantum computing, which is, look, we've always heard of quantum physics, and if you, not this book by Price Pritchard, but his other book, U Squared, and then A Happy Pocket Full of Money, two of my favorite books, they go deep into quantum physics. And you may not or may believe in quantum physics, and that is the ability to be in more than one place at one time, right? But quantum computing comes into form now, where we're going to start seeing it in our personal computers and even in our phones, where it has the ability to help from the medical standpoint, because it can solve very complex problems extremely quickly. So now we'll hopefully, if greed and capitalism don't get into play, we'll start seeing solutions for things that have been, long-standing problems health-wise a lot quicker.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But I think you're right, Caroline. It is making sure that you still keep the human aspect of it and doing the basics, right? So, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I last night when we were chatting about this session, and I just put a ChatGPT prompt in, and it was, I create fiction books for Amazon on Amazon KDP, best-selling author, pen names, blah blah blah. Give me all the AI resources, software, apps I should be using in my business to cut costs and time and become even more successful and profitable. And I did the same for courses. I create courses, blah blah blah, and then the list of things, I went down. I thought, okay, we're probably using about 30% of these. And that's where I started. I went to bed last night thinking, oh my gosh, so many things that we could be doing that we're not doing. So this conversation's been really interesting, especially looking at what you guys are doing in your team. But equally, the power still of ChatGPT, especially the upgraded version, because I think you get all the extra plugins. I think you get the plugins, don't you, with the version 4, but the plus version gives you so much more. You don't have to upgrade, but I always find the upgrading side of it is key. But there's so many different things. I'm gonna go through all these things, and I've asked it to just build out these things and recommend the top ones, and see, some of them will be duplicates where you could use 5 things or 1 thing, and then you pick your favorite, don't you? But equally, there's a lot to do. So I'm going to spend I've got in my diary 45 minutes every day now, just researching something else and making sure that the team are up to speed with that. And that's the thing, to make sure that with their respective roles, that they're up to speed with things, but also how can people in the team up level and upskill and then take on other responsibilities and roles by using AI, and are they open to that? Because you're talking halving your costs, aren't you, or more, in the short term, if you start to bring in more of these different things that can do more. And of course, maybe one day you will be a one-man business.
And is your team, I mean, do they feel threatened by it as well? So I think communicating back to them, like, look, this is not going to replace you yet. No, just joking.
Just become a generalist, honey.
Right.
Everyone can be content creators. But not everyone wants the same things. And it's an interesting piece. I think it is about that, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, the key to this is learning how to adapt. And whether that's, adapting other software and AI into your own role, whether it's doing some other things, whether it's because all these people that are working in our teams will see quite easily the ease of actually doing this themselves. And that's of course what we want for people. We want everyone to be getting as much as they can out there and doing the best that they can. But not everyone wants those things. But I've noticed as well that, it's the 30s generation that are feeling like this as well. It's not just, when AI started becoming a really big deal over the last sort of year or two, even though of course it's been around for a long time, I just thought maybe it might be the people in their 50s, 60s, my 50s, my generation and above. But actually a lot of people
that were open to it,
that might have a perception that they don't want to go down that road. But actually, I'm finding that people from the sort of late 20s upwards are like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to keep up with this. And like my eldest, she's very much, I just think I prefer to be in like an old world. I like all the old stuff. And
isn't
she's
that
22,
fascinating?
it is fascinating. So I think it's something where everyone's probably feeling the same. We know this is great, but obviously how it is utilized in the future, we can't control a lot of that. No doubt there'll be some sort of balance. There'll be good and bad, like there always will be in the world. But equally, it's just the most incredible time for people now to move forward and live out their dreams. Because when you look at what you put out and the content, I sort of look at you sometimes, I think, how do you do that? And how do these people do that? And now we know, well, it's an avatar or a chat bot or something else that's going on. Makes me feel better about my output, because and I'm still working on that, having to do so much, as opposed to taking a step back, learning a bit more, and then utilizing the technology to do it for me.
It is.
I'm in that generation.
I think you're right. I think that because I see my son Tyler, he has been surprising me a little bit with using he's starting up a interesting company, a sports betting company, because he's into sports, right? So so he created this incredible logo for it in all of 15 minutes. And before, he was resistant to using AI for creating his Kindle books, for creating his courses, even though he's the one that introduced me to ChatGPT, right? So he came home from school, I think it was 2 years ago. He came home December or around this time, actually, 2 years ago. He's like, Dad, go in and put in who is Ty Cohen in this app. It was an app that he gave me, I think it was, or maybe it was on a website, but he did it on his phone. And I was just blown away, and I'm playing around with it, and that was it. So now it's interesting to see where kids his age, they don't use it as much as we do with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-olds. And I think it's because they kind of take it for granted because they have been on the internet and apps and platforms. That's all they know.
Yeah.
We know the difference between having to do all of the hard manual work and now having a tool, and that's what we're using it as a tool.
Yeah, but also there's a deception around this a little bit as well, because I think that, oh my God, am I like keeping up with this? I feel like I'm not, and I want to bring in more and more AI, and then but then you go out there and you get your hair done, or you go to your dentist, or maybe not your dentist, but this, you know, you go out there and talk to people, and they're like, "What's ChatGPT?"
Yeah,
You
no
know, my
one.
best friend who works for like the equivalent of the IRS over here, we call
Mm.
it the the inland revenue. And she's like, well, we sort of have AI built into our systems, but what's that? And so you think, oh, I thought it was like everyone is doing
We're in a bubble.
everything with it, and they're not, but we're in this 1% bubble. Because of course everything that's coming through in here is all fed from what work we're doing and what we're researching, and obviously conversations with each other. We just think that, oh my gosh, you know, let's keep up, but we are on the leading edge, us here doing
Yeah.
what things that we're doing. But then equally, you know, obviously in some roles out there and some professions like the medical world and other professions, they're right, well, maybe not as much as they should be over here, but they'll be, you know, obviously
Right.
utilizing it way more. So it depends on your profession. But, you know, even for social things and personal things, I just assumed everyone was using ChatGPT for research on anything. I mean, I'll research anything and I'll go and talk to Carrie. She
Yeah.
talks to me. She goes, "Hi, Karen." Actually, no, she's got a British accent. But I
Mine
can
does too.
really
Yeah, mine does too,
make sure
actually.
she's got a British accent.
Yeah,
Um,
mine does
so
too.
you know, she gives me loads of ins and outs of all these different things, personal things, you know, so that I can give the children advice. It just sort of saves me picking up a book or getting onto Google. So I'm using it for lots of different things in my personal life. And I
Yeah.
just thought that everyone else out there was, but still, you know, it's new for many people and they're not particularly. But yes, I'm still quite shocked that my children aren't all over it.
Yeah, it
Um,
is very, very new. So it's interesting that you said that. So I had my laptop, I had took it to the Apple store to get the battery replaced, right? So it's about 20 minutes away from me. So I'm talking to ChatGPT almost the entire ride. You know, I've got it connected to my car, and so I'm like, hey, give me different angles, marketing angles for this new series that we're working on. And it's giving me things that I didn't even think of. Right. So I'm like, hey, look, give me new marketing angles and make sure that it's FTC compliant. And now, all right, so it gives me like 7 different marketing angles. And then I'm like, well, which of these do you think has the broadest appeal so that I can attract as many people as possible? And then it narrows down those 7 to 2. And then I say, well, from these 2, how can we refine them even better? I want you to act as a specialist in XYZ. So I'm having this entire conversation. We're talking about it. And of course, the notes are kept in your ChatGPT
yeah.
app,
And
right?
you
So
can
you
just
have them
download it
in.
later or read it later. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I'll
So
do
it's
when I'm doing
good.
the chores at night. The
We'll say
kids are
that
saying,
again.
"Who are you talking to?" When I'm doing a chores here at
Oh,
night.
got it.
I'm going, yeah. And anyway, and I'm like having this conversation with Carrie. It's quite worrying, really. I need to get out more, but it's incredible. You know, I'll get like the whole solution to something that I've been researching, or unequally when I'm driving. Yeah, we're incredible, but equally, there's still quite a lot of work for humans to do.
Yeah, a
But
lot.
actually, yeah, become a specialist at prompts. That's the work for many of us, you know.
Specialist at
Um,
props. Yeah.
yeah, and so Robert shared his prompt, uh, what's it called? Prompt Perfect AI that he's been using, that teaches you, you know, how to do great prompts, and it, you know, it's got a prompt optimization option, brainstorming, prompt generation, prompt API integration. So I was looking at that. He mentioned that on the FastPass call. But that's the thing, you know, the more you use it as well, the better you get at teaching
There you get.
your
Yeah,
your
100%.
AI, you know.
So go ahead and use ChatGPT, guys. We're going to close it out. If you're not using the app, you know, you just go in, download the app on your phone, and then you'll hit this little button here. You could start having a conversation with it, and it's like, let's see here.
I think
So,
for the
hey,
pro version, I think.
hey, Chatty, what is the weather like today?
In Durham, North Carolina, it's currently 33 degrees Fahrenheit with freezing rain. There's a winter weather advisory until 11 a.m. The high will be 41 degrees and the low will be 25 degrees.
Okay, well, I don't like cold weather. Is there something that you can do to change that and give us like, 73 degrees out here?
I wish I could, but I can't change the weather. Maybe a warm drink or a cozy blanket could help you stay comfy.
All right.
How's your
So
afternoon?
do you see how it has like the inflection? Like she kind of had this little giggle. I wish I could. I mean, think about this
It's
like
great.
no.
And it's sort of closing off the conversation. It's like, bye. Hey, bye there, Caroline. Have a great day. You too. And you start thinking, what am I doing? But, there's so many things. I tell you what, as well, if people are feeling, that they want to brainstorm things and they feel like they can't do something, go and
Yeah.
start talking to your Carrie or your Chatty, and they'll say you can do that. It's so the information that comes, it's like you can do it, you've just got to research it and work hard, that sort of thing is really great for people that just want that
Encouragement.
reassurance, because of course it's coming in with the sort of anything is possible information, and so it's a great thing to to connect with. Of course, don't speak to it all the time at night like I do, but I literally have become an expert on just so many things.
Do you notice? So I'm in a Facebook group. I'm in a couple of AI Facebook groups, so I can't tell you which one it is. There's people that actually use it for therapy as well, which I think is fantastic, right? I
Yeah.
think that like now, of course, it's not a professional, right? But it's great to be able to. My mom used to always say, you shouldn't keep things pent up in you, and I had no idea what the word pent up meant as a kid, right? But she would just talk. So even something like this, I think this is fantastic for you to go in and express ideas or to get advice or just to be able to release things. And there's tons of people that are just doing that, right?
And
So
what it does, it'll come up with resources for people, books to read, websites to go and have a look at. So it's really, when we were prepping for Anisha's flight, we sort of put in there, what other things does she need to start thinking about? My prompt was better than that, but you get the idea. And it came up with some books to read, getting in touch with the first female fighter pilot in the UK who wrote the book An Officer But Not a Gentleman.
Is that where you got that idea, ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And then it came up with all links to her motivational speeches, because she does speeches around the world still. She does events, appears at events. So it gave us her phone number, or her team's phone number, to get in touch with her, and like all these different things. There was a whole big, I sent Anisha like 3 pages to help her prep. There was some stuff around mindset stuff to prep, and it was very accurate, because of course I knew a lot of the information in terms of anyway about her role in the Air Force and the people and all the rest of it, and it was coming in with like the names of a board, all sorts of things like that, and you just think, my goodness, so it's great research, and it is good for people that want solutions, because it's just a brainstorm, isn't it, rather than phoning. Obviously phone a friend, but rather than having an hour-long conversation, you could just get some ideas in a minute or not even a minute, but it is about balance, of course. I'm not dissuading anyone to have human contact.
You must be I started smiling because you must be like you've got a camera somewhere around my house, because I've got a friend, I'm not going to name names because he's a great individual, I'm not going to even tell you what gender, but who sometimes I might bounce ideas off of. But when I do give the individual a call, because of me and because of this individual, it turns into an hour-long conversation sometimes. And I might just want, hey, look, I got this idea. What do you think? Boom, boom, boom. 2 minutes. So I can now do that with ChatGPT, and I even will tell ChatGPT, look, give me the brief answer, right? because ChatGPT can go long as well.
Yeah,
So
and the thing about ChatGPT and not the friend, as amazing as they are, he or
yeah,
she, is that, you know, it's going to be completely objective, you
yes.
know, and it's going to be completely level, and it just gets it done. You know, how many times do we go through the day and think, shit, you know, I've been working all day. What
Mm,
has my output been like? Okay, I had that hour-long conversation over there, or I just had a, you know, message conversation, and I could have actually outlined that series
yeah,
with AI in that time. So it's about, okay, the balance, you
yeah.
know,
Because you
and
do need those phone calls where it is an hour and you're just shooting the shit and that's it.
yeah,
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 you
you
need that.
do. Yeah, you do. And it depends if you need that input or the other person needs that input. But if you need facts and research and opinions with different, you know, different approaches,
Yeah,
unless you get 5 people in the room that's had experience with those different 5 approaches, you're better off spending 30 seconds here or however long, few minutes going back and forth while you're making a coffee or your chamomile tea, and job's a good one, you know, and it's subjective. So it's not like there's no sort of predetermined ideas. There's no sort of, oh, yeah, that doesn't work because I've tried that before type approaches. It's just complete facts. And then you can run it by someone that, you know, that you want to run it by. It just makes us bye-bye university. I think it's just going to make everyone, providing if we use it correctly, it's just going to make everyone so much cleverer. I think as generations go on, despite the fact that people think it will do the opposite,
I'm one
because
of those individuals who think it will do the opposite. It could potentially. I think that you have to be very conscious and making sure that you exercise your brain muscle, your reasoning ability, your creativity. So even in prompting, I try not to get lazy with the prompting because you could, and it'll understand what you're saying, and it'll still give you great output.
yeah, that's a
But
good point.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you start to it's a muscle. You start to atrophy if you don't use it, right?
But
So
equally, you know, if you're doing a load of stuff with ChatGPT, if you don't, you know, if you're reading it, you're getting the knowledge. It's no different to going to the library and you know, getting a load of books out. But it is about, you know, you and the balance, isn't it? And what you do with it.
yeah, everything is balanced in that, right?
Anything.
It's
Yeah.
the pies and the cakes and the asparagus and balance. All right, Caroline, this has been fantastic. Great call here. Even though I'm still not 2025, I'm not bringing asparagus. I'm going to put up a post on Facebook, and that is bring what are the things in 2024 that you want to leave in 2024, and what do you want to bring? And if you want new experiences in 2025, you got to leave some things into 2024. Asparagus is one of those things. I'm leaving
No, it's so good for you. You got to
2024.
bring it in. Oh no, but you like broccoli, so that's okay. That's really good for you too. As long as you're eating green.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Green. Yep. Spirulina and green juice and things like that. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. You don't have to go for the asparagus.
all right, guys, have a good one. This has been a great chat. I know we went a little bit over, but it has been fantastic and fascinating. All of this effort will delay dementia, Wendy says. They make green beer.
Do they? That's
I didn't know
interesting.
that. Yeah, see,
Green
look,
beer.
we did learn something in 90 minutes here.
What
Green
with
beer.
beer? Because the
Yeah.
alcohol would destroy the vitamins, won't it?
You
Or is
know,
it green?
it's so next week. I think it's next week. My birthday is next week, I think. I never know when my birthday is. Let's see. January 20th is my birthday. So let's see. Is that next week?
Week after
No.
next. Yeah, no, it's later
Week
on in the
after
month.
next on a Monday.
Better write that down.
It will be 5 years since I've had alcohol.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah,
Really?
5 years. I just one day we're on a cruise and I just wanted to, not that I used to drink. I probably used to drink maybe because I'm thrifty. So I probably used to drink maybe 6 times a year. Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas or something like that. And one day we're going on a cruise and I'm like, you know what? Traditionally when I went on a cruise, when I go on a cruise, I would condition myself to not eat sweets. So I'm eating salads, I'm eating good stuff. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna have any drinks on this cruise. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna have any more drinks for the rest of my life. And that was it.
Hmm.
So 5 years and boom. So I'm
Brilliant.
really now what that's done is it's helped me health-wise, because there are times when I would drink something and go into a crisis later on that night, right? So which is why but I didn't drink much. But it also in spending. Now again, I probably spent not much in drinks, unless you go to Miami where it's $35 for one single drink and you're out of your mind, right? But my wife doesn't drink as much. She'll drink wine like you, right? But now if we go out to a restaurant, because I don't order anything, she probably will order one drink. Versus before, if I ordered one, maybe she would have had two. So it saves as well. So you see that? There's all of benefit.
Yeah, I mean, Maliha, she's just not, she gets paid from me in the business. She gets her some student money as well. And a lot of her friends are saying, how come you go, to all these fancy places that she goes to? And she's like, and she just doesn't, she's having this amazing lifestyle. She went to Paris and she's just booked a Formula One night over here in London to and she's got like a VIP ticket. I'm like, what? Okay, you're meant to be at uni. We were eating macaroni cheese out of a tin at university,
Ramen noodles,
super noodles or whatever they're called. And she's got this great lifestyle, and she showed me her bank balances, and she's got like savings. And she's doing it because, okay, she doesn't have accommodation to pay for because that's all sorted, but she pays for all of her travel out of them. And I thought, it's because she's not going out and getting drunk like most uni students are. She doesn't drink. She doesn't like it.
That's a huge saving.
And so she said, yeah, but she'll go to the Landmark Hotel, which is, I don't know if you've been there, it's on just off near Baker Street where her university is. And she'll go for a pot of tea and she'll sit there for 2 or 3 hours drinking the pot of tea and working. But she's only like spent $8 or, £10 or something, it's $10, £8 or something like that all afternoon. And they brought cookies over, so you do things that you think are expensive, but they're not, because she's not drinking cocktails, which is like £25, $30 each, in there, or that sort of thing. And so she's got this lifestyle that's really healthy, or she'll go and get a matcha latte or whatever. And most of her friends are Muslims. And so equally.
So that helps too, because they're not.
Yeah, but they're all obsessed with like really nice food. And they don't go to they're not going to like the fanciest, they go to like regular nice places, but they're all like got loads of money because they're not drinking like we did when we were at university. All the money went on Friday night beer or whatever. Crazy. And so they're all healthy,
It's a total shift, right? From that standpoint as well. You look at some of the kids, like I look at like my kids, and just their thought patterns and expectations. And like you said, right, it's not the Friday, Saturday night drinking. We totally went off topic with this.
I know. I just like
AI to like
done, don't we?
And everything else.
This is the conversation we need to have with ChatGPT, not here.
Yeah. All right, guys, have a good one. We will see you. Go in and look, find one of these platforms. We give you a ton of resources. Find one platform, find two, and dedicate 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour to going on YouTube or going on the platform or, Eric, I'm just joking when I said thank you. Just joking about that, of course. And just educating yourself on this stuff. Doing this will put you're already light years ahead of most people. Go in and talk to your relatives, talk to your neighbors, talk to people at your workplace, and ask them what apps just ask them what AI platforms do you most use? And watch the response that you get, right? So just putting yourself in a position where you're just continuously educating yourself on this stuff gives you that advantage that everyone else will be understanding 3, 4, 5 years from now. So it's a good place to be.
True.
All right. Stay well.
Take care. Have a great week,
Have a good one.
everyone.